All right, we are good to go.
All right, welcome to ALCOSAN's Green Committee meeting. Oh, all right. Welcome to ALCOSAN's Green Committee meeting. It's September 18th. It's 2:10 p.m. Ms. Prater, will you take the roll call?
Paul Klein, Dr. Shanna Tharp Gilliam, Darren Kelly,
Here.
Emily Kincaid.
Here. All right, we will get started with our informational items. First is the GROW Cycle 9 recommendations. Ms. Williams?
Madam Chair, we thank the committee for participating today. We have our first opportunity to talk in depth about the addition of what could be perceived as a half cycle. You heard about it, but you'll hear more. And it is really just accelerating the program so that we're reaching more municipalities more quickly. With that, I will turn things over to our manager of wet weather programs, Tim Prevost. Take it away.
Thank you, Arletta. This agenda item, informational item, we're going to talk about the Cycle 9 recommendations that we're going to make. Cycle 9 and GROW began almost 12 months ago and now is leading up to this point. We've received 39 applications for 39 projects. The map shows the distribution of the projects throughout the service area. For the most part, there's a lot of I&I jobs, meaning they're rehabilitating sewers that have a lot of groundwater. But we had a fair number of sewer separation projects in combined sewer systems. And we also had one project that was a combination of green stormwater infrastructure and sewer separation. We did not get any applications for direct stream inflow reduction, which is DSIR, which means a stream coming into a sewer system and taking up the capacity. Nor did we have any system optimization projects, SO, which means doing fixes to the system that has an immediate impact on overflows. These 39 projects also include one project that was we offered an extended review from Cycle 8. This is not the full list of the projects. This is half the list. And the way that we code everything is by the year and number. So many projects. Here's the rest of them. So they are all throughout our service area. Next few slides, I'm going to share with the committee some project highlights that we have. Usually every September, we share the recommendations and we talk about our top 5 projects. And for this top 5, these are long-term overflow reductions. And what we mean by long-term overflow reduction is GROW is now taking into account the impacts of the interim wet weather plan. So we've taken a look at plan expansion, Ohio, Allegheny, and Monongahela tunnels, and incorporated their schedules into the next 20 or 15 years, but a 20-year term for a GROW project. So you can see on here we have existing, and this is what the overflow reduction would be right now before any work is completed. But in the long term, the overflow reduction. And you'll notice that some of these projects don't have any reductions and some do. It depends on where they're located in the service area. But as you can see, for the long-term overflow reduction, these are 5 very impactful projects. For me, there's no surprise. They're all sewer separation projects. They tend to have the most impact on overflow reduction. I'd like to take a moment to talk about Westview for a second. Westview's projects. This was the first time that Westview has participated in GROW. And they did this starting last year in municipal workshops by identifying where the projects are. And the projects are located at different parts of Westview. Their stormwater discharges are not planned to go back into sewer. They're going to go into a waterway, which means that the water they take out is going to have more of an impact on CSOs. And in Westview has their own CSOs, as well as this project having an impact on the CSOs on ALCOSAN's interceptor. And this is a really good project, having the municipal engineer working with us to identify where the strong areas would be. And we're hoping that this is just, the first part of maybe a few more projects in Westview. We have our top 5 projects, cost efficiency, where you can see them right here in this column. So these were the most cost efficient projects, and the one that these projects are surprising a little bit. Usually I&I projects don't get so cost effective, but these projects are all dependent on their location. And also, I'd like to talk a little bit about one of these projects, East Pittsburgh. The East Pittsburgh project was a holdover from Cycle 8. Cycle 8, we identified some issue that needed to be resolved before we could award the project. And so we worked with the municipality to identify what we saw as a minor design flaw in that original Cycle 8 project. And the engineer addressed it and put it in and submitted it for Cycle 9. We shared the evaluations with them and identified that there was a need for some more storm sewers to connect from this part of South Park Street down to Linden Avenue. Field investigations were done to reconfirm the flow of the stormwater to be separated, and most importantly, for East Pittsburgh, this being their first project in GROW, this project is going to have a direct impact on their compliance with their consent order agreements. I was very happy that this worked out well for them. And finally, the top 5 projects in award amount. So the potential GROW awards are identified in the far column. And in this one, I'd like to highlight Wilkinsburg. The Wilkinsburg job is actually 2 GROW projects that we already awarded 2019 52 and 2020 38. But what happened was those projects were awarded in 2019 and 2020. And when COVID, when we were all working and dealing with COVID, they had to put those projects on hold. And then after everything was, COVID was fading away, all of a sudden, inflation and the costs of construction went up. And so those cost escalations would have resulted in Wilkinsburg having a higher financial obligation. In 2023, Wilkinsburg hired a new engineering firm, and that engineering firm reached out to ALCOSAN immediately and wanted to talk about what it was that Wilkinsburg was responsible for in terms of grow. And we shared all the information that we had from the grow applications and the projects that we knew from the previous designer. And that engineering firm went in and evaluated everything, worked with ALCOSAN to identify, maybe some inefficient work items to remove from the contract. And what remained, they consolidated into a new grow application. And since this application utilized information that ALCOSAN provided to Wilkinsburg through some monitoring efforts, so we could identify the most cost-effective areas to work, even though the overall project costs increased by $32,000, the award that they were able to receive, we're recommending, is increased by $340,000. The project that they identified, cutting out all the inefficient work, really had an impact on this job. So we have all these projects on this list. I believe there are 20 of them. And this is our recommendation. The green are awards, the red are declines, projects that we are not recommending for award. And then the orange projects are projects that we are proposing to reach out to the municipality and offer them an extended review, meaning that the information provided on the application was not enough to provide a reasonable recommendation, but we feel that the project has merit and we would like for them to work with us to make the project a little bit stronger. And here are the remaining 19 projects. And here's our recommendation. And so there was just one project, the Shaler project. They submitted 6 projects in the Pine Creek sewer shed. 5 of them were, cost effective enough to recommend an award, but one of them just didn't cut it. And so we're not recommending the one. But for the rest of these, every project is something that we would recommend. We are prepared to talk about any of these projects. If anyone has any questions about any of these projects or the projects on this list, we have every one of them ready to go. But if not, I can move on to the Cycle 9 award results. What does this all mean? So we're recommending 33 projects to receive an offer of an award. The value of these awards are broken out by the various categories, but they total just shy of $12 million. The long-term overflow reduction from these 33 projects is we're estimating 21.5 million gallons a year. Overall cost efficiency for these projects, overflow gallon, is $1.34, and ALCOSAN's cost is about 56 cents an overflow gallon. Way this breaks out by project: the green project, the sewer separation, the I&I. And then by overflow reduction, fairly consistent. So for this cycle, seems like most of the projects, are consistently being, offered money for their overflow reduction. And those are the cycle 9 recommendations. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
I don't have any questions, but I do think it's pretty impressive that there's so many projects that are being recommended for award. I think I think it's really good for our region.
Yeah, it was a lot of hard work, a lot of hard work from the GROW team to, make a big effort during the consent order agreements for the municipalities to increase participation. They met our expectations, and then the review team did a great job. I was very happy for them.
Is this sort of a reflection of municipalities better understanding the GROW program and how to use it? Obviously there's a little bit more participation from different folks. Westview Water is, applying for the first time. Is it outreach that's kind of been more successful, or people are just understanding what the parameters of the program are a little bit better?
I think the answer is yes to everything that you said. This was the 9th cycle. Most of the engineers are familiar with what we're looking for in terms of source reduction projects, and they are very familiar with what works. Our push to get more municipalities involved started well over a year ago, when we've been encouraging the few municipalities that haven't participated in the program to work with us, so we could try to identify areas that their particular municipality might have some good projects. It's been working out very well. And then, sometimes new engineering firms come in and you get to work with, fresh ideas. And that was a good thing for cycle 9. It was a lot of work, and I'm very happy with, how the municipalities participated. I'm really happy with the GROW team, the way they pulled everything together. And we're gonna be starting this back up at the end of this month with cycle 10. So it's really good.
Great. Darren, do you have a question?
Yeah, just a quick question, Tim. What happens when someone a municipality is declined? Can they reapply if they get the paperwork together for the next cycle?
Yeah, what we always do is we always offer the municipality an opportunity to see our review.
Okay.
That's something that I don't think most grants do, but we're not really most grants. And we want them to see, we want to give them the opportunity to see what we saw. Some of the projects, like the one project, I don't think that they had a full understanding of what GROW was. And I look forward to having an opportunity to talk with that municipality about what didn't go well in that application.
Okay.
And it's no fault of theirs. It's just the GROW program has very specific requirements, and we're always more than happy to reach out to them. And if they have information that was not provided in the application and they show that to us, and sometimes that could be what we needed to change our recommendation, then we would just tell them, next time we're going to work through this.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, if there are no other questions, I guess we'll move on to the second informational item, which is end date extensions.
Thank you. End date extensions, that every few months, we're trying to get to every 6 months. GROW end dates come due, and sometimes the projects are not quite finished. We usually We usually have a cutoff at the submission of their final report. A lot of these projects where you may see the end date being March 31st of 2025, most of those projects, they are almost done. They're working on their final reports, just the final report is not going to be done by the end of September. So, when they ask, should we submit a request? The answer is always yes. Just keep working on your final report, but submit that request so that the grant is not in that weird spot where you're out of, you've went past your end date. Some of the projects go to September of 2025, March of 26, and there's one project from Bridgeville that they already know, they already made the determination that they're not going to be done by March of 2025, and just seeing everything that they need to do, they requested an extension to September of 2026, and the request made sense. So we're recommending that that project also be part of this group. Okay, if there are any questions, be happy to answer them.
I have no questions.
No questions.
All right, so I guess we'll move on to the next one, Grow Cycle 10 program guidelines.
So as Arletta mentioned before, we've accelerated the growth cycles from an annual to semi-annual. So every 6 months, we're going to be coming back to the committee for key action items, award recommendations, end dates, and program guidelines. And the process for program guidelines, after every cycle, we take a look at the program guidelines. We try to see, are there modifications that are necessary based on how the program went before. We do an internal review. We share the guidelines with our solicitor to make sure that everything is legal. And the part we're at right now is we're presenting these changes to the Green Committee. And then the next step after today, provided that you agree with the changes, this will go to the full board at the board meeting next week. There's two types of modifications, dates and cycles. Those are recurring modifications. The program modifications are adjustments intended to improve the understanding and implementation of the GROW program. What I'm presenting today is not really an adjustment, is more of clarifying for the applicants what we are looking for, or in this case, what we're not looking for. And this is in the section for eligible use of funds. And this is the list of ineligible projects. It's pretty unwieldy. It's very long. It is a massively long run-on sentence. And we've actually had this for many cycles. And then we started to, after every review, we're always looking at, well, is this eligible? Is this not eligible? And we're always referring back to this. And so what we did was we simply put everything in a much better visual way, something that can be read easily. And then we reordered everything. Every block that you see is kind of like a grouping. So you have a legal, governmental block, financial block, a public relation block, sidewalks, maintenance. Everything is in an order that we believe makes sense now. And it certainly made sense before, but now it is much easier for an applicant to see this. And there's no changes to the guidelines. It's just reformatting and making it easier to understand. And if there are any questions on the program guidelines, I'd be happy to answer them.
No questions for me.
No questions.
Okay.
All right. We're done with our informational items, so we'll turn to action items. First, motion to recommend the ALCOSAN Board of Directors approve municipal source control projects for Cycle 9 under the Green Revitalization of Our Waterways Grow program. Ms. Williams or Mr. Prevost, I don't know who wants to talk about that, although we did kind of talk about it.
Madam Chair, we kind of talked about it. We would greatly appreciate your vote.
Motion to recommend to the full board for approval.
Because I will second it. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. So next up, motion to recommend the ALCOSAN Board of Directors modify the GROW grant agreements by extending the term of the contract. We also talked about this, so I don't know if anybody has anything additional to add. All right. Can I get a motion?
Motion to recommend to the full board to modify the grant agreements.
All right. Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. And finally, a motion to recommend modification of the GROW program cycle 10 program guidelines in a form approved by the solicitor. Anything additional to add?
No, ma'am.
All right. Can I get a motion?
Motion to recommend modification to the whole board.
All right. Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Is there any other business, Ms. Williams?
Yes, I am pleased to report that at Saturday's open house, for the very first time, the last booth that I was able to have shut down and pack up was not the pre-K booth. It was actually GROW, Green Revitalization of Our Waterways, had the last guest standing, just giving Tim their complete undivided attention. And in recognition of such, Tim, please share.
Thank you, Arletta. This is a photo of what our tent looked like just at the beginning of the open house. And at the open house, we shared information on GROW. We showed the board showing cycles 1 through 8, everything that was that has been awarded, worked on, projects that are completed. We shared with the public some select projects that have been very impactful and wanted to talk about those projects with the public. And our colleagues from the Buffalo Sewer Authority actually came down from Buffalo and stopped by the tent, and Andy Potts from Jacobs was there, and he was sharing information with them on the GROW program. And it was really nice to see other sewer authorities coming to ALCOSAN, because for the most part, not everybody does what we do. And I think that they wanted to see, hey, how do you have a good open house and bring the public to see what you're doing? And it was really nice. We also had a table and information for rain gardens. So we had some wildflower seeds that we were allowing people to take with them. We also had information packets explaining to people how you plan and build a rain garden on your property. But I think the most fun we had was the kid tent. And we had a rain barrel, and the kids would draw on stickers and then decorated our rain barrel. And it was a lot of fun. This means that we had well over 100 children drawing, but what that also means is that we had well over 100 big people getting information on Grow, and it was a lot of fun. I was very happy, and I didn't want to leave, but eventually all good things had to end. But I love this one. This I asked Mike Anthony to take that picture because I thought that was great. You know, a little kid just loved ALCOSAN in the open house so much. And oh, that's it. I wanted to share that with the committee.
That's great. I am disappointed that I wasn't able to make it to the open house this year. So we got like a little mini presentation of what I missed. So that was good.
Yeah, me too.
But all right. Well, thank you. Thank you for that. And if there's no other business, we will adjourn. And our next meeting is Wednesday, November 20th, 2024 at 2 p.m.
Thank you, committee.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You do.